expected?
How March Madness expected? I know, and it never does, just like everybody else who fills out a bracket.
Yeah.
For the most part, I was in, like, the 97, 99 percentile, and I was just ecstatic, and then it just goes to poop, just goes down there, so, I think the winner, we kinda had a good idea that was gonna be the case. I thought Arizona might put up a little bit more, but, sometimes when you just get punched in the mouth, you get punched in the mouth, and
Yeah.
then it's really hard to come back to that.
Yeah. Well, when Arizona punched Arkansas in the mouth, I think everybody was expecting Michigan Arizona to be one of the most epic games of the tournament, and it ended up being just a butt whooping. And I think when that happened, I think everybody kind of knew Michigan was about to put that away. And I mean, their team was incredible. They've been incredible all year.
Yeah.
I think people kind of thought it'd probably be Arizona, Michigan, or Duke, one of those 3, and
Mhm.
it ended up, uh, being the case, but no, Jason, dude, excited to have you on the podcast as we connected, obviously, during March Madness, if people can't guess, as, we were talking ball as we got introduced for the first time, and, man, you do some cool things, and we were talking before I pushed record because I wanted to ask you kinda how you wanted this conversation to go just because you do a lot of different things, and you have passions of helping people and coaching people, and obviously big basketball guy. You've coached, you've been in sales, you're coaching people to maximize their life from a health standpoint, and do all kinds of things to grow and advance, as especially guys, as you were telling me. But man, give your personal kind of high level overview of just what you're doing in your life,
Yeah.
the direction you're headed, because even in just a month's time, you're doing more things than we discussed the first time we talked. So, man, I mean, what all are you doing?
Oh, man. I'm gonna say it one time, and then after that, we'll shorten it out. So, a focus of mine is do hard shit, okay? So that'll be the last time I say it. My mom gets mad at me every time I say that, but it's one of those things of everybody is going through something hard, right? And my brother, his kid was born with hydrocephalus. There's people who have cancer. There's people who are struggling, who are losing their jobs, who are losing their houses. Everybody's struggling with really, really hard stuff. And, God's put that on my heart to remind everybody that we're all doing it. So we're all going through it and that it's not an alone thing. You are never alone no matter what. And so it's just that reminder of I'm here to help improve your health, because when health is a number one problem, that's the only problem you have. You don't have anything else. So it's one of those, like, how do we improve health? How do we improve leadership? How do we improve the aspects in your life that actually, um, A, matter, and B, leave some type of imprint on other people? And so that's what I'm doing. It's been something to where I coach coaches, I coach consultants, I coach business owners and entrepreneurs, and I get to work with just amazing mission critical team members and things of that nature, so that we can, like, how do they do it, and then how can I teach that to somebody else? So that's the passion. That's my wheelhouse, and that's what we continue to do.
Yeah. No, I love that because in my household, my wife and I, we've never been more focused on. We were former athletes, so college athletes, and we've always been conscious of fitness and food. But she got diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic just within the last 18 months. And so we've like really kicked into gear and hit the message of, if you're not healthy or focusing on your health, you really can't do anything else. And we've been sharing that with our families and friends, and just kind of putting that message out there that you are is like, hey, you can't help other people unless you're helping yourself and you're your best physically and mentally and all of that. And I think the more I talk to people, I think people realize that the challenge is just doing it and finding that discipline to get it done. And I know I was looking at, website that you had put together, and you've got some program where, it's blocks of little time segments that you can focus on each day to help do that. But how did you personally come to realization of like how important this stuff is, and then realizing you have a way and an idea to help other people focus on that or find their focus on that?
Yeah. Well, we'll just start with the reason why I started Healthy Leader, which was the blocks. The blocks are exercise, reading, reflection, and then breath work. So breath work actually kickstarts it off. Then we go into exercise, then we go into reading and reflection. So there was a purpose to the madness of that program. So it was like, If I get breath work down, then I can get my insides working and moving the way they need to do. So my diaphragm works appropriately so that I can actually expel the energy that I have to the things that I want to do, to the muscles that I want to use. So it's one of those things. If I don't start with breath work, then I'm in trouble. And breath work also just helps start your day because most of the time they start their day with the stuff that's up here and it's like frustrating them. It's the things that are causing them anxiety. So if we start with breath work, then we actually can calm that anxiousness and be able to start the day attacking where we need to go, where we want to go, not where our brain, that anxiousness is taking us. So that was the reason why we started it. Then we went to exercise, the motion and the lotion, and all that stuff that we talk about. It's so important to be able to do that. And I started with the morning time. So I try to get 5 to 6 workouts a weekend. So whether that's rucking or strength training, that was the focus. And then I had read from John Rady, who wrote the book Spark, that the best time for learning is post exercise. So that was the whole reason why I set it up. So if I can regain or retain more information, why wouldn't I do that? So then I just followed my workouts with reading. And then I used reflection. Reflection was what we call our dope journal. I've got it here. I mean, it's just a way of logging, right? So I log my emotions, I log my feelings, my thoughts, my actions, my behaviors, all my choices, and I just put it down there. And for most people, it's really hard for them. They're like, I don't know where to start. Cool, you don't have to. Just write a page, put down paper, pen, paper, 7 minutes, and go. Just whatever you think, and then you just start going slowly on. Okay, well, what did I eat? What was my exercise? What thoughts came into my head? Like you start seeing the patterns that's going through your head, and you're like, I don't like the thoughts that are going through there. So now we see the pattern, and then now we can change that. But a lot of times people aren't writing it down, so they're constantly repeating the bad stuff that's going over through the negative. And so it was just a way to fix and I don't want to say get rid of it, but to improve that line of thinking.
Yeah. Man, I'm about to unpack that a little bit because it's funny. I'm good at 50% of that. The breath work, man, I've never done. I hear it's amazing. I know people preach it and people swear by it as far as resetting, getting your mind right and all that. I've got to do better about that for sure. But it's also funny, I do good at the exercise and the reading. And it's funny you say that too. Earlier, I was reading while walking on the treadmill. I've started to do that. If I need to get steps in, I'll read. And my brain just it's my favorite time to read because I don't know why. It's probably just like you just said. I'm moving, blood's flowing, I'm learning. It's just I'm maximized in my I don't know, everything's working properly at
Yeah.
that time. But you talk about journaling and writing things down. It's funny, just had an episode that we released yesterday with Jedediah Collins. He's an former all pro fullback
Hmm.
for the New Orleans Saints. And he is a massive, massive preacher of writing things down and journaling. And he talks about journaling in high school and college and in the pros. And he actually has a book coming out in a couple of weeks where he literally just he journaled for an entire season. And so he writes all the emotions and everything he was going through. But he preaches that over everything of writing things down and being able, it kind of helps you stay in the moment
Hmm.
and then it helps you revisit things you want to revisit. And he's like, there's nothing more powerful than writing things down. And I've done that a little bit. I need to get back to it because it's just one of those things that, again, you got to be disciplined and make that a part of your daily routine. But I really like that you broke those 4 things down because I've heard that over and over again. Each of those things, how important they are. So again, as you were saying it, I was just like, yep, man, I'm correlating things that I've heard, and what I need to do personally.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And we broke it down as 28 minutes to change your day, to change your life, right? To transform. And 7 minutes, and people are like, "What? A workout in 7 minutes? Have you ever tried to run a 7 minute mile? That's
It's a
pretty fast.
workout.
You're huffing and puffing big time. I don't care if you're still an athlete. 7 minute mile is pretty difficult to do. Like it's just reminding them that they're perfectly capable to do things consistently. Like that's all it is. Discipline is just choosing consistency. And then as you grow with the consistency, then it becomes a discipline and then it becomes a habit. But at the beginning, it's just how can I create some type of consistency so that I can build it up?
Yeah. Yeah. How do you Jason, I'm curious to know, like, as you've just your path into how you found your passion of of helping others. I can when I talk to you, I see the feel. It sounds like you love seeing people kind of overcome challenges, and that's from sports
Mhm.
and business. Uh, like, what is the best thing about what you do? Because I mean, again, you're doing a lot of things. You have a podcast too. We didn't even bring that up. But what is like at this point in time? What are some things that you have just I don't know, the greatest part of your life right now, and, like, what's the most rewarding thing that you're experiencing from the work that you're doing?
The most rewarding thing is being able to see the difference in my kid. So I have 2 kids. I have a 19-year-old and I have a 10-year-old. So the 19 is out of the house, and the thing is like with the 10-year-old, we see the leadership. Like he breaks his arm and kids are coming over to the house to give him bags of candy and stuff. Like you don't do that. Like you don't get that if you don't have some type of leadership capability. Same thing his teachers talk about it. So it was one of those things that that's what I see, and that's what's most important to me. It's is my kid being a leader? And the answer is yes. Is am I being a better husband to my wife? Hopefully, yes. So it's like, can I see that there? And then the biggest joy outside is that is can I get them, whoever I'm working with, to see that as well and to feel that as well. So if I do that, I'm winning. That's what God's calling me to do, and we're just gonna stay with doing that piece.
Yeah. I love that, man. I wanna switch gears a little bit to, basketball,
Yeah.
and obviously, you've
Yep.
started basketball training systems. What is that all about?
Yeah, basketball training systems, I didn't start. That was Larry Hughes. He's a former NBA legend, played with multiple teams. I think the Knicks, the Sixers. Man, who else am I missing? I'm missing a few. Don't in Chicago. He played with LeBron. He played with MJ and LeBron. Like how there
Crazy.
aren't very many people that can say that they did that. So he started that back in 2016. I was on the other avenue at that point with Pure Sweat Basketball. So we were like doing this in St. Louis, but I'm a firm believer no matter what, there's no such thing as competition. There's too many people, too many kids, too many client possibilities to ever worry about competition. Our job is to change lives, and that's it. And so we built basketball training systems to now where it's going global. We are in India, we are across the country, and so we're trying to magnify our impact by bringing on more coaches who have access to gyms, who want to coach and run their own academies, either at their own gym or at a 24-hour fitness. So our job is just once again to use a curriculum, to use character development, all encompassing inside of that, so that kids can be peak performers on and off the court.
Yeah. Dude, I love that. I love that. Obviously, as just a sports fan in general, seeing people do that, even with books for guys, I've got a goal of penetrating into more sports and working with athletes and coaches just because it's a passion of mine. That's why it's such a joy and honor to talk with you because I just love
Thank
what you're doing on the basketball side of things. And it's such a Charles Barkley actually talked about it during March Madness a little bit. He's like, man, this sport is the best sport because he was like, it's the easiest for people to pick up and actually be able to play. Obviously, like at a high level, it's different, but like to just learn the game and be able to go play with people and make friends and just get out there and do something. It's the best sport for
Yeah.
that. And I think that's why it is so globally accepted and played, and just because there's another more courts is a good thing. You cannot have enough
That's right.
basketball courts and goals and balls, and man, it's the best thing. So I just think I love what you say too about competition. I hear people a lot talk about they worry so much about what other people are doing. And it's like, man, there are so many people in the world. Like you can find your little bitty slice of pie, and it's going to provide more than you ever dreamed of if you'll just focus on what you want to accomplish over what other people are doing. So dude, you're just dropping the hammer on some things today. I love it, man.
Thank you.
Everything you're saying, I'm like, dude, I love this.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, Jason, as you continue your personal growth, I mean, dude, you're doing again, I keep relaying this back, but like you're doing so many different things, and I can tell you have a vision for just where you're kind of wanting to see yourself go. But in your own words, what is that vision, and what do you want to accomplish in the long term, and what are some things that you're chasing and want to see done just through your own discipline and what you're trying to do?
Yeah, mine is to create as many experiences as possible. And when I say that, I mean, we've got a land navigation thing that's coming up to help build leadership through teaching land navigation. We've got a sniper course that's actually coming out to where you have to learn the two dynamics of shooting and then spotting, which is really incredible. And I want to first say I did not serve. I support those who did and do, but like my goal is to learn. And so I know that from a leadership standpoint, if you can understand both of these, the sniper and the spotter, then from a communication standpoint, from a leadership standpoint, you have such a capacity to relay information in a way that matters, in a way that is succinct, in a way that is clear so that everybody that you're leading can can get it. And so, my job is to create as many experiences, whether it's for young kids, for young boys who are approaching that adolescence levels. How do we get them to understand what manhood is, what being a father is, of what being a leader truly is? And I'm not opposed to bringing in female side at all. I think it's very important. Leadership is the one trait, regardless of what comes in from an AI standpoint, all that stuff. Leadership will never go away. It is the fundamental piece that is going to stay no matter where we go. And so I want to be able to help learn, grow, and develop myself as a leader so I can teach that as things progress. So, if it's on the basketball court, I am thrilled to be able to teach people leadership and basketball development. I want to teach leadership to coaches and I want to learn from as many coaches so that I can just pass that knowledge on. I'm just a stealer of people's ideas. And then how do I get that to work within mission critical teams? How do I get that to work in business? And how do I get that to work with athletics?
Yeah. Man, that's awesome. Your passion for doing this, and here's kind of a loaded question because I talk with some people and and even books for guys where I talk about a lot of, I'm a little bit nervous for the next generation. There's parts of it where it's like, man, that what they're experiencing and what they're doing is awesome. And then there's other parts where you're like, man, what they're doing and experiencing is a little bit like I couldn't imagine what that's like as a young man or a kid and like what direction that may steer them towards. And so, I think it's extremely important for leaders like yourself to be out there trying to provide paths that are positive and in a good direction. But is there a little bit about what you're doing that comes from seeing what young people are going through and having a little bit of fear of what their generation's going to see, or just kind of where does that motivation on your side come from and what are you seeing? Because again, I get both sides, but some days
Yeah.
I'm like, man, these kids are crazy. I don't understand what it's like. And then the other time
Yeah.
I'm, dude, they're so smart. They have so much opportunity. How can we guide them better? So I'm curious your vision and what you see on that.
Yeah. First off, I think you're so spot on with that last piece. Like they have so much. They're problem solvers, but they just need the guidance. They are pattern recognizers better than probably any other generation that we've ever had just because of having these things in front of them and seeing it and being able to play games and blah, 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 boom. Yeah, I can recognize patterns. But they don't know that they're so blessed in that avenue. They don't know certain things. Like they need the people piece, like they have this piece, but now they need to work on relationships and relationship building and leadership development and skill development and certain soft skills that they're lacking just because they're in front of this all the time, right? So I think that I'm fearful just because I'm a father, but my job is to make my kid be the best dang person that he can be, that they can be, so that what they can attack any type of problem that comes their way. That's what I want. um, when like it's scary when you look at certain situations, like you'll look at that and be like, dude, I'm so scared for our future. I've been on talks and seen my man Nick Lavery. He's retired, or he's about to be a retired Green Beret, active duty still, lost his leg, amputee, first ever special forces to go back in as a above the knee amputee. So it's like when he goes and speaks, I am reminded of what our future looks like. So when you go watch some of the junior ROTC programs that he speaks to, I'm not scared. I have no fear when I watch these guys and I'm like, these are our future leaders. I'm stoked. But then you see other situations where we don't see those guys, and we see other situations where there's bad parenting, bad leadership, bad whatever.
Yeah.
And now you're like, oh my goodness, I'm so scared.
Yeah.
So there is a dichotomy between the two. But if we are focused on truly improving our lives and making our kids, our families better human beings, then I think that I'm not too worried, and in the end, Jesus wins regardless. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I'm a little less fearful the more I focus on leadership development and I see those situations. I'm a little bit less fearful.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that you broke it down that way because, yeah, it's such a tug and pull on different days. Again, I'm like, man, these people, and again, it's not just kids. I mean, even
Right.
adults that
Yeah.
you notice, especially like post COVID, where you're like, man, what are we thinking? And then there's other things where like, man, we're amazing. We're like, we've never been better, but it is such that tug and pull. And I'm always interested on what people are seeing out there and if that aligns. But again, if we're focused on doing the good work and putting positive paths out there, there's nothing to be worried about, man. These kids are smart and there's so much that they're going to do that we can't even fathom just
Correct.
in the time that they're going to be growing up. But Jason, just a couple more questions for you. And the primary one is I know you're an avid reader. We were talking about books the first time we talked and you started just popping off books. Then you were sending me recommendations and I was like, good God, he's running circles around me. But man, what are some books that you have meant a lot to you personally and professionally? And what are books that you like to recommend to other people? And what are some that you think that everybody should read for one reason or another?
Yeah, yeah. I encourage everybody to read. I'm a firm believer that I try to avoid saying absolutes and then should, because should requires a lack of choice, right? So, Chris, you should do this. Well, that means no choice on your end. So,
Commit.
what I would say, no matter what, is Objective Secure was written by Nick Lavery. So same guy that I got to do. It's about goal achievement, and it's knowing Nick plus the book. It changed my life. It changed how I approached my marriage, and it truly changed our marriage. So it was unbelievable that a Green Beret, like that type of book, you're sitting there going, "What?" But that changed my marriage. That changed my life. So that's number one. Number two is Go Giver, written by Bob Berg. And I think it's a phenomenal read. It's a short read, business fable type book. And it makes you think about how to respond and how to treat people. And it'll help you in sales. It helps you in every avenue because every business is people business. Like I'm just selling a MacGuffin, I'm just selling something, but it's people. So no matter where you go, no matter what you do, it's a people business, right? So those two are my favorites. I think Never Eat Alone was one of my favorites back in the day by Keith Ferrazzi. And that was a phenomenal book on just staying in touch with people and building relationships with people. Phenomenal book. I did enjoy Made from Scratch, which sounds a little crazy. That's Kent Taylor, the owner of or the builder of Texas Roadhouse.
Okay.
It's got some really good stuff in there, and you're just like, "Man, I'm not into that stuff." But it's a really good book. So lots of little golden nuggets that I would suggest reading.
Yeah. Cool, man. There's a few in there I have not read, so I'm gonna add those to my list and to the site as well for if anyone's interested in finding those and reading those. Man, just a basketball question for you before we get off. We're in the midst of NBA playoffs. Last night was watching Orlando versus Detroit. Orlando's up 3-1,
Yeah.
8-1. I was like, dude, this is so much fun. I'm a big OKC Thunder fan, so I'm obviously rooting for them. We talked about LeBron earlier. I've never been the biggest LeBron fan, but I appreciate greatness, and it's amazing to see what he's doing in this opening series. And it's gonna be weird when he's done playing, but him and his son, those moments together have been awesome to watch. But what's your projection? I want to ask on the NBA playoffs. Number one, I'd like to know who your favorite team is, and number two, who do you think is going to win it all?
Celtics, Celtics, without question, Celtics. So let me think. Celtics.
All
All
right.
right. So big fan. Missoula is a phenomenal coach, and not taking anything away from anybody else, any other coach whatsoever. Just a phenomenal process. He truly is a relationship guy. The guys love him. There's so much trust within that organization with everybody and their pieces. It's really cool. Like you would typically see when Jason coming back into the rotation. Well, most attitudes for Peyton Pritchard, who started a bunch of games, And guess what? Peyton was averaging, I think, like 17 for the year, which is phenomenal. Jason comes back in. You would think like Peyton would be pissed. Like, dude, I earned this spot. Nope. He comes back in. He says, I relinquish what my role is. I accept it because I want us to win. And he's getting even more minutes. So it's like
He had
one of
30
the
points the
things.
other night.
32, career high. So I just look at them from, and our company has done some consulting with the Celtics. So Jason was somebody who I got to rebound for back in the day at Chaminade. So I have so much love for Jason. I have so much love for the Celtics. It's not even funny. My kids cheering, we're yelling at the screen too whenever they're making plays. And it's just phenomenal to see them play the way they are, knowing some inside stuff as well as just seeing it in the public.
That's really cool. Yeah, and I would assume, and I think it's cool too. Oklahoma City seems very similar watching them as a team.
Yeah.
And Boston's the same way. Like the guys, man, they love each other. They play for each other. There's just this. You just know who is going to be better when matchups come out, just because of the way they all play hard. They all help each other. They're all rooting each other on. There is no ego with these guys on these two teams in particular. So I would assume or I'm hoping for a Boston OKC finals match because I think that could be epic. But you're right. I was one of the fans looking at Tatum coming back, being like, "Hey, is this going to work?" But it's been almost seamless, and that's you broke down why, and that's hard to do in sports, especially professional
Yeah.
sports, where guys get paid, guys have certain things they want to do, but well, when you put that stuff to the side, how much better you can be with that approach anyway, and
Yep.
also be successful with wins. And so, Jason, dude, thank you so much for doing this. I've been looking forward to this conversation again. Just as a sports guy, I love talking ball, but I also love all the things that come with it and the things that you're doing from a leadership standpoint and trying to encourage young guys to do different things, and you're working with people on focusing on fitness and bettering themselves and reading, and I got to work on the breathing and the journaling. I'm glad you brought that up, but just all the positive things you're trying to encourage people to do, and I know those are things even yourself, you work on as a disciplined person to try and be better at too. And so, man, keep doing what you're doing. I,
I
I
will.
I don't even think you've scratched the surface on the impact that you're going to have on people and young guys and who knows who else. So, man, I'm rooting for you, and I
Hey,
appreciate you being a part of the Books for Guys mission in that regard as well.
yep.
So,
Thank
dude, keep it
Thanks.
up, man. I'm excited to
Thank
see
you.
all you do.
I do wanna hype I don't wanna pub my book. I wanna pub the 94 coaches that are in my book. So the book is called The Coach's Season, and it is a basketball book for basketball coaches. So anybody looking to do it's not that, it's for basketball coaches and developing. So it's not my words, it's their words. I interviewed 94 coaches and they're in there and they provide phenomenal resources. So I want to praise them. They did such an awesome job.
Yeah, no, we'll make sure that's spotlighted on the website as well for anybody who wants to go find and read that. So, yeah, appreciate you bringing that up. And Jason, I guess before we jump off here too, where can people find you and follow everything that you're doing?
Yep, you can't go wrong. It's anything Coach J Fry. So CoachJFry. That's LinkedIn, that's Instagram, that's Twitter or X, whatever we're going to call it. So that's the website as well. Anytime you email me or contact me, I try my best to get back immediately to you so that that there's no break. And so my goal is to help serve those I serve.
Perfect, man. We'll make sure those are all in the notes too so people can find and follow you. But no, appreciate it, Jason. This has been awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me, Chris.